The Auburn Tigers take to the field tomorrow in Jordan-Hare Stadium for the 2024 A-Day. Let's talk about it on this live edition of the Uptempo Podcast.
You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Let's go. What's up, Auburn family? I hope everybody had a good week. A little Friday Night Live. Blake fired up about this, man, but we figured we'd get in here and just kind of talk some A-Day real quick because the boys will be on the field tomorrow, man. They'll be in pads. They'll be in them sexy triple stripes playing a little football, man. I'm excited to see it. How are you this night, brother?
Dustin, I'll be honest with you. I'm excited as I can be. I am pumped. I'm ready. Auburn football is back. Jordan-Hare Stadium. That's what we all, that's what we care about deep down. So the baseball team kicking things off tonight at Plainsman Park against Tennessee. But we're all eyes are on 8A tomorrow, right? I mean,
Yes,
you want to see these guys go out there, have some fun, show out. Hugh seems really positive in some interviews that he's been doing, and some guys are really picking it up, and guys that we need to pick it up, right? If we want to have a successful season, we need certain guys to go out tomorrow and have a day. I think you want to see that positivity around the program. So I'm excited. I'm ready for it. Glad it's going to be on TV and be able to be seen because at one point we thought it wasn't. So, hey, Coach Hugh Freeze, staff, players, go get it done. Prove a point. Prove a point that Auburn football is on the way back. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, Dustin.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I watched Josh Pate today. He's doing his little speaker series. He's traveling around, really good content, interviewing all the coaches. And stay on the lookout, by the way. Our guy Mike G got an interview with Josh Pate dropping soon. That thing is fire. Trust me on that. But, he was obviously asked about the quarterback situation. And he said, listen, it's Peyton Thorne. And the way he talks, Blake, he said Peyton Thorne's earning it. He said that this is the best Peyton Thorne's looking since he's been at Auburn. He talked about how these last 2 weeks, really, Peyton's kind of really starting to understand the terminology, understand the system. And then something that I saw that maybe my favorite Peyton Thorne outside of him trucking old boy at Arkansas was his comments about some of the guys that didn't want to be here are gone. And I saw kind of some clapback among some of the fans saying, well, this isn't going to sit well in the locker room and blah, blah, blah. It's not going to sit well with those guys in the locker room that he was still kind of pointing out. But I thought it was the most vocal leadership publicly. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, right? But public display of leadership from Peyton Thorne, I love that because I know some of the guys he were talking about that he was trying to get to come to workouts and wouldn't come to workouts, and they're not on the team anymore. So I do think that has taken a positive step as well. So it's the elephant in the room, man. Like we all know that tomorrow, if you're gonna be talking all this stuff, we've heard for the past 2 or 3 weeks, you went on late kick with Josh. He's gone in his pressers and said Peyton's taking that step. Peyton's taking that step. So the obvious thing we want to see, right, Blake, is an efficient Peyton Thorne tomorrow.
Yeah, I want to see a leader. I want to see a guy take the reins and run with it. I want him to be vocal. I want him getting set, all right? Not looking like last year where the play clock's running down and we're still not set and he's having to motion guys over here saying, hey, you're not set up right. We're having to burn a timeout in the middle of the first quarter. Let's be fluid tomorrow. Let's be ready to go. I want to see that Peyton Thorne leader. I've talked about it multiple times. I want him to be vocal. He's doing it in the media side, all right? But now when it gets on the field, let's be vocal. Let's be that leader. Because this team's looking at the quarterback. Everybody around the country, how can Auburn be successful? Well, it starts with Peyton Thorne. Can Peyton Thorne improve from last year to this year? Because he says that he feels the most comfortable since 2021. That was the year he had playmakers. That was the year that he was successful at Michigan State. So if he's feeling that confident, if he's getting all the terminology and he's got the offense down pat, we got to see something special tomorrow. I want to see Auburn air it out a little bit. I want to see us take shots downfield. I want us to see the intermediate game. I want to see it all, man. I want to see this offense clicking on all cylinders. I know Hugh doesn't like to show a lot and he don't like to be flashy and things like that, but I want to see some shots being taken. Just so we can sit here and say, hey, this was nothing like last year. It looked much improved. The offense isn't scattered all over the place. We're not platooning guys in and out, I want to see everything like just running like a well-oiled machine, Dustin. I think that's the biggest key to me tomorrow. When just looking at big picture, I want to see fluid, just on the go, everything under control. I don't want to see a bunch of flags, all right? I want to see it like clockwork. And that's the biggest thing to me tomorrow. That's the number one thing I'll be looking out for is how Peyton has his hands on this offense. Is it going to be clicking on all cylinders?
Yeah, that's a good thing to be watching for because it's, a lot of times last year it starts going sideways and it's like, hey, I'm looking at my 2-year starter quarterback now in his third year starting at a Power 5 school, and I'm looking at you to rein it in, and it keeps going south. And Tim, our boy Tim's in here. He asked a good question. He says, how much of the chaos between Montgomery and Hugh Freeze can be linked to PT's inconsistency, confusion, and discomfort? I think a lot. And I think that inconsistency is the right word because you think back to that 3-game stretch, and outside of one bad throw versus Vanderbilt, he was money, bro. He was money. I mean, he came out versus Mississippi. And look, I know that those aren't good teams, right? And that's a point that me and Blake have made about Auburn and even being the big games. But, like, we saw for a 3-game stretch in SEC, he put it together. So, and like Hugh alluded to the other day, there's tape of him doing it at Michigan State. So it's in there. I think he's very capable. I'm going to keep saying this all off season. He's very capable of giving you the 2009 Chris Todd. Peyton Thorne's got that in him. He maybe even has a slight step above that in him. Not a whole lot, I don't think, but there may be a little step above that because he surprised me last year with his wheels a little bit. So I do feel good about like, hey man, he can run the RPO for real. Like he can do enough with his legs to make the teams honor that. It's like you've been preaching, man. It's about the vocal leadership, and I like what I've seen. I like him saying what he said, man. I really do. Like if you didn't see the quote, he basically said a lot of the guys that we were looking at last year, why aren't you here? Why are you showing up late? He said a lot of those guys have left, but he said a lot. I mean, there's still a few, and we got to weed those out. And there's a portal period remaining, and I hope we get those guys on out of here because I don't want anybody that doesn't want to put on that AU. And that so just for tomorrow, man, I think that. Because if you think back to the bowl game, right? He was kind of praising Peyton Thorne.
Yeah.
And then PT comes out and lays an egg. So let's not do that tomorrow, PT. Your head coach has been saying you're the guy, right? Come out there tomorrow, man, and show everybody, yes, I am that dude. And I know somebody in the comments is going to say it's only the spring game. Blah, blah. Look, I'm not saying that whatever happens tomorrow is the end-all, be-all for the Auburn Tigers, right? But I did watch Jeremy Johnson half-ass an A-Day, and I immediately started wondering about his mental, and it showed itself the following season. And that leads me to my next point. What I want to see tomorrow, outside of the Peyton Thorne conversation, like from a team, body language, I want to see a cup full of juice, Blake. I don't want to be looking at anybody going, you ain't got no juice today, bro. Everybody better have a cup full because football players like to play football, whether it be April, whether it be September, whether it be a cold-ass day in Nashville. Football players, Ray Lewis type, Ed Reed type. I see Takeo Spikes getting inducted into the Auburn Hall of Fame or Walk of Fame, whatever it is this weekend. Boy, if they were playing football, April, March, Washington, Alabama, Antarctica, Takeo Spikes is going to put on his helmet, and he's going to pop you in the mouth, and you're going to have to turn him down. I want to see us have to turn down guys tomorrow. I want to see everybody lit up and ready to put on the AU and play some football. And I don't give a damn if it's a spring game. Because what I watched last year in A-Day and what I watched previous years, is a bunch of guys go, it's a spring game. But at about June-ish, July-ish, I start really getting that football itch, and I start watching the rest of the SEC spring games. And one that stood out to me last year was Missouri's. I watched Missouri's spring game last year, and I said, man, one, obviously Luther Bird, and I said, okay. But yeah, right. But Juice, they cared. They wanted to be there. It meant something to them. And I was like, oh, okay, these guys they're going to play hard this year. I didn't think they were going to have the year they had, but it stood out to me, man. And it seems like a small thing. And that's not, if a Georgia fan or a Bama fan is watching this, they're going, huh? Because that's a problem that you're up here because your guys bring the juice every single day. But last time we saw our team on the field, quite frankly, they didn't. And more times than not over the last 3 or 4 years, they haven't brought it. And, Teresa, I hear you. The weather last year was terrible. But, just take body language and effort. And if you watch enough football, man, you can kind of tell when a receiver's loafing a route, when the defensive end gets initially beat by that offensive tackle, and he doesn't kind of give that second effort where it could have been a sack, but he felt like, oh, I lost, I'm done. The play gets extended a little bit, and he misses opportunity to make a big play for the defense. Loathing, things that Hugh was really, really calling out last year that he says are getting better this year. I want to see them all be better tomorrow, man. I better not see any half-ass, lackluster, oh, this is just a spring game, blah, 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 blah. You boys are putting on the pads. You're walking in the Jordan-Hare Stadium. You have an impression to make in front of Auburn fans. Do it. Do it, man. Do it. Come out there and have fun and play with some juice and play with some energy and look like Auburn football players.
One thing I have to Tim's question is last year in the middle of the season, we were kind of wondering, you talk about the inconsistency. We were kind of wondering, does the OC like one guy at QB and does Hugh Freeze like another? Or, what is it? Because we didn't know. We just saw the rotation in and out, in and out, in and out. Hearing a different cadence, false start here, having to burn timeouts due to delay of games and things like that. It was just a scramble. So I got to sit here and say, hey, look, PT, he didn't have it. All right, because one, you're sitting here constantly looking over your shoulder going, well, Robbie, he's putting his helmet on. Here he comes. All right, second thing is you didn't know what offense you were running from week to week. I mean, Hugh would step up to the podium and say, well, we didn't run a whole lot of RPO stuff today, and that's my fault. It wasn't in the game plan. So it was a week to week, what offense are we running? And that's what I really want to see tomorrow from Peyton, is just have it under control. I know, like you said in the comments, I know it's a controlled scrimmage. I get it. But there's competition that can't be controlled. All right? Guys who want to compete, they're going to be out there. It's all about the reps, baby. Get the reps, compete, want to win. Even though it's a spring game, man, want to win. Your one-on-ones, win that one-on-one. Win that battle. That's what it's about when it comes to a spring game. It ain't about loafing and because I could get hurt. And look, you can get hurt doing anything, baby. All right? That ain't it. We got to bring the juice, like Dustin said. We got to show up. People are watching. People are walking through the Auburn football facility and saying, hey, this is the best thing I've ever seen. How are they 6-7? This thing is one of the best facilities in the country. How are they 6-7? Show up and compete tomorrow. I want to see a better Peyton Thorne. I want to see a better everything. I want to see coaches busting ass. I want to see it all, Dustin. That's just where I'm at with Auburn football right now.
Yeah, for sure. And it's wild. It's kind of wild that we're at this point to where I see Teresa. I was gonna put yeah. Teresa says, I get hurt brushing my teeth. Listen, I feel this. I feel this more and more. A couple surgeries in the last couple of years, man. I feel like already at 32. I'm like, what in the world? I feel you. Yeah, man. Brett asked, are we having a family reunion tomorrow? I'm not gonna be able to make it, brother. Blake, I don't think you're gonna be able to make it either.
No.
Yeah, I just had some stuff come up, man. And I hate it, but as you guys know, I will be there. I'm gonna catch a couple more baseball series, and then I'll definitely be there when we kick that thing off August 31st. You can bet on that.
Yeah, unfortunately, not unfortunately, I don't want to say that, but I just took a new job, and so all that happened, and I got a birthday tomorrow, and so I got to go to Pensacola, Dustin,
Woo!
and do my thing there. So got some family over there that I got to attend to, but I will be watching A-Day very closely.
Yes, sir. Shout out to my Wahoos on my hat right now,
There
opening
you
up
go.
the season tonight, man. But Chris says everyone is watching tomorrow, and yes, we will be doing. I'll be on the pregame and postgame coverage over on the War Report channel, so be on the lookout for that. Tim is congratulating our boy Blake on the new job. Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Man. Yeah, Blake's a good guy. Works hard, man. Good family guy. Good dad. Definitely deserves it.
Appreciate
Something
it,
else,
brother.
Blake, something else that I think would really look again. Go watch that Josh Pate interview today. Josh said, I walked through the hallways here, and he said, Hugh, everybody I point out and say, oh, that's a get off the bus guy. He said, somebody tugs my sleeve and says, he's a freshman. He said, then I walk a little bit down the hallways a little bit and I go, look at that guy. And then somebody tugs me on the shoulder and says, yeah, he's 17. I'm telling you, man, and then they got into the Cam Coleman conversation. We've heard it all about Cam, and the hype is real, but it would be fun if Cam has like 4 catches tomorrow in a tutty, like just to put the exclamation point on the hype, and then maybe scores a touchdown and we pull him, and all right, you'll see him in the fall. I think that would really juice up the fan base, man.
You guys are you're putting all the heat on Cam Coleman. You're putting all the heat on him. You're gonna ruin him as an Auburn wide receiver, is what they tell us in the YouTube comments. Hey, I love it. All right, I love it because we didn't put none of the pressure on Cam Coleman. All right, that's the reason they rate these dudes. They go watch him play in high school. Dustin went and watched him play in high school. All right, I can sit down and watch a YouTube video highlight of him. Just freak of nature, right? I'm with you. I want to see Cam Coleman dominate. I want to see him go out and have a day, because we've got this thing at Auburn where we just can't score, right? That's what people make fun of Auburn about. Can't score points. You don't have a wide receiver. My kid wouldn't go to Auburn to play quarterback, right? We hear it all. We hear it all, and you want to make. You want to make a little impression that things are changing tomorrow. And I see Chris in the comments. He says everyone is watching tomorrow. Guess who doesn't play tomorrow that's going to be watching? The University of Alabama. They're not playing. They're going to be watching. They're going to be tuned in. You think Kalen DeBoer is not going to be watching what goes on tomorrow? He's watching. He's tuned in, baby. He's ready to go. He's locked in. He's like, let me see what these Auburn Tigers are about. Everybody. They want to see. They want to see the hype. So you gotta put on a show. I think you gotta show up and show out.
Yeah. Recruits will be watching too, Chris.
Yeah.
Blue chip elite recruits will be watching. And you put on the atmosphere that we know at this point. Hugh Freeze is going to put on the atmosphere off the field on the campus when those guys are visiting and all that. But you go out there and PT throws the ball around a little bit. Maybe Hank Brown comes in, throws the ball around a little bit. And you look at some of them receivers and you say, hey, man, looks a little bit different than last year, doesn't it? I'm in control now. This is what my RPO system looks like. One more thing I wouldn't mind seeing, Blake, was I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of D linemen get some pressure. I want to see a couple of D linemen get in there and get some tackles for loss. DJ Reed, step up and show me something.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Jones, I wouldn't mind seeing you look explosive with a nice first step. Some of them young DBs I'm looking at, like, this is your first chance, right? A lot of them guys, we're hearing about our guy Travis Scott. I keep hearing about Sylvester Smith and Colton Hood. All right. Well, you're going to be out there tomorrow, and there's no. I don't have a Jalen Simpson to fall back on now. If you play bad, I don't get to go. Oh well, I know Jalen will be. Just got you. I've heard about Caleb taking that next step. Okay, well, go out there tomorrow, man. Fly after that ball and show me something. A lot of young guys that I'm really I'm really excited to see him want to make some plays, man. And I'm looking at DJ Reed, I'm looking at Malik Blockton, and seeing if these guys can get in here and ain't got to be nothing crazy, man, but just make a force. And because that's another thing Hugh Freeze said this week. He said, I'm going to be counting on a lot of freshmen next year, more so than I'm comfortable with. But that's the situation we're in. And he said, I've made that decision versus going and being portal heavy. Now, you know me, Blake, personally, I will be patient with signing top 6, top 7 classes.
Yeah.
And letting those guys develop a couple years. Because I think that the portal route, like what Lane is doing, that fits for his school, right? Like that's a good strategy for Ole Miss. But at Auburn,
100%.
we can build through the high school ranks still. We can't get to close to that level of what Alabama and Georgia have done. As far as I know that the guy that I have coming up through the next spot is a guy that I recruited out of high school and stuck in the program for a year or two and is now developed and ready to go. So there's a lot of young guys. We're all super excited for him. I mean, what if Jamonte Waller pops up and makes a big play? Like just something like that. I just want to see some young guys pop, man.
Yeah, and look, there was a comment by Josh Pate that he was talking about the portal and why not go portal heavy and all of that stuff. He said, look at Hugh and look at Cristobal down at Miami. When you're going in and you're taking over programs that have been losers for the past couple of years, well, Miami for the past 20 years, there's a way you got to go about it, and you got to stack talent. Yeah, you can go to the portal and get a couple pieces here and there, all right. But if you keep going to the portal, you're not building anything. Because now, these cats are jumping 3-4 different times across from school to school to school. So there's no depth there. There's nothing there, to be honest. Right. So you wanna stay in those high school ranks, and you wanna stack those top 10 classes. We're gonna be young. We've mentioned that 1,000 times on this podcast. We are going to be young in certain spots. But guys like Jason Jones, I need to see it tomorrow. I got to see it. All right? I got to see it. Gage Keys, Trill Carter, guys like that, I need to see it. You're some of those portal guys that we went after and we got. I need you to step up. I need to see something. Something. All right? That's just where I'm at because that's what I'm focusing on. I want to see that front.
Yeah.
I'll always say, I say it 1,000 times, I ain't worried about the secondary. I'm just not. I know Auburn's always going to bring that secondary, DBU, whatever you want to call us. Linebackers, I'm not worried about that because I think we're right there. You know, I think there's some things to look at there, but my main focus would be up front and seeing those guys compete and what might it look like if some of those dudes do beat our O-line, because we're high on the O-line right now. We're high on the O-line. So if you start seeing them getting off on our O-line, I think that could be a positive and say, hey, maybe we aren't as bad as what we thought up front. So in my opinion, man, I just think those are the things that we got to really hone in on and key on when we're watching tomorrow. That front, both of them, we can go O-line and D-line. I think those are big pieces.
Yeah, for sure. Big Percy Lewis, excited to see him out there in the Auburn uniform, man. I really think that's going to set the line up nice. Get a couple of you guys' comments, and then we'll get out of here, man. Y'all know the drill. Hit that thumbs up. I know everybody in here in this chat is subscribed to the channel already. Brett says there will be quite a few recruits there, too. Yes, there will, man. It's a spring game. You know who Freeze is going to do it up. Hoping we get some commitments this week. Sounds like we're really close with a couple of guys. So, you guys, you members know that I gave y'all a couple that I thought were really close to and hope pop this weekend. So we'll see how all that goes. Chris says he's got a jazzy challenge. If Cam Coleman gets 3 TDs tomorrow, I'm giving y'all $100. Let me make a prediction for you, Chris. I'll get up here to Brett's question. He says, what if they do like they did to Cam? We didn't see him during 80 that I can remember. I was there, and we did. He threw one throw on a freaking rope for like 50 yards, and then they pulled him. I think he played 3 plays total. He like handed it off once or twice to Ontario or something, and then threw one straight dart 40, 50 something yards down the field, and then they pulled him. So back to your challenge, Chris. I hope so. But I got a little, it's my feeling that if Cam Coleman comes out there and does somebody dirty, like we've all seen on the highlights, him going up there and the definition of mossing somebody, he goes up there and gets somebody early. They might say, okay, there, y'all get it. This is Cam Coleman. We'll see him. And I don't think they're going to let him get to 3 is what I'm saying, Chris.
Yeah.
After 1, they might pull him unless it's like the first play, which, I went and saw him play twice last year, and he opened up both games with an 80-yard touchdown. So he might score on he might score on the first play. I don't know. But I would definitely say that if he gets to 2, they'll call it and say, okay, that's enough. You've seen enough. And look, I don't mind this. It's frustrating in days like tomorrow. Just a fan in you wants to see a lot of stuff, but Hugh Freeze is really freaking paranoid, man. I mean, just hearing him talk about the spring game this Tuesday or Monday, whatever it was in his presser, he just sounded like he thought there was going to be spies all over the. I mean, he sounded the way that Saban used to sound, right? And I like it. I like it. All the good coaches are overly paranoid, so in the long run, I'm cool with it. I want to see us, throw it around a little bit and see some guys play. But yeah, man, I'm gonna hold you to this, Chris. I will hold you to this. If Cam Coleman does put up Dale Earnhardt tomorrow, I'm coming for this hundo.
Alabama lets anybody out there now. They even let Roll Tide. Well, they don't give a piss by nothing but the Tide. All right. They let him out there, Dustin. They talking about putting him on the Jumbotron for 3rd downs, saying blitz, Bama blitz. All right. I mean, that's crazy to me, but
yeah,
I don't get
Brett,
it, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Brett says, I know I've said this before, but y'all have heard that Alvin is going to Penn State this weekend and is supposed to be committing on the 11th now. All right, so I'm going to make this announcement now, guys, to all our members. I'm done with the Alvin Henderson recruitment stuff. If the kid commits, when he commits, we'll do cool. But everyone that I've ever talked everyone that I've talked to, man, is like as plugged in as plugged in can be, and it's going to happen this time. Which means he's telling people that, okay? Yeah. Like the people that I talk to are not just saying that. They've been told. So like whatever he's doing, he's a kid. I'm not even going to attack it, all that. Just I'm out. So for our members, when it comes to the recruiting pods and all that, when Alvin Henderson commits, because look, if he commits to Penn State, FSU, or Miami, I'm not even going to bat an eye on it. And if he commits to Auburn at this point, I'm not going to bat an eye on it. We'll know where Alvin Henderson is going to go play college football probably on the last day of him being able to pick. It just has that feel, doesn't it?
Well, it doesn't. Look, the whole, like we say, all right, he's a kid. All right, he's a high schooler. He gets to enjoy the recruitment process and all of that. All right. But the whole April Fools and I'm going to do it on Friday and then you back it up to the 11th. Look, the more and more that stuff happens, I just don't think it's Auburn. If you wanted to be at Auburn, you would be at Auburn. And I DM'd somebody today, all right, and said, hey, Alvin, what's it look like? What's it look like? I mean, he posted the hourglass on Twitter, and he said, man, let me tell you something. He has done that 30 times, and he has told numerous people, hey, it'll be this day. And then, poof. He's just going to be one of those guys that he's going to commit on the 11th or whenever, and then on signing day, he's going to pull the hat out of the bag, and it's going to be a completely different hat. It's just going to be one of them. And
that's a future portal guy, too, Blake.
I think he's a super talent, Dustin, but, that's how it goes sometimes, and it sucks because I think Auburn has keyed in on him. I think losing Cadillac hurt a little bit in that recruitment, but that's an in-state guy, and you've kind of said that, hey, we're honing in on him. we didn't take a running back last year because we want Alvin Henderson.
Right.
And then all of this stuff starts happening. And now you're hearing Miami, Florida State, Penn State. That's recruiting now. That's recruiting now. It's not like it used to be.
Yeah, and the good news on that is Auburn's had several backs on campus. I think that they're kind of being prepared, right, for like something like this happening. They're not necessarily just saying, okay, it's definitely going to be him. Auburn's recruiting a bunch of backs, and they're going to take 2 in this class. They're prepared to take 2. So if Alvin Henderson's not a part of that, Auburn's going to run the football just fine, man. And then our guy Greg, what's up, Greg? Big supporter. Greg says, I'm getting Ryan Williams vibes from the whole thing. I'll say this, Greg. Like, I mean, Ryan was previously committed to Alabama. Right. So, like, it always kind of felt like we were going to have to beat Bama. With Alvin, it's like we've been told for a year we're the leader. This is the school. And it's like Blake said, it gets to that point. And so remember with Cohen Eccles, where I got to the point to where people started putting in predictions for Cohen Eccles, but then he still had visits scheduled. And I did the member pod, and I was like, he's not coming here, guys. Like it's just at that point where it's like it seems like anybody but Auburn. And I'm not saying that Alvin's at that point yet, but it's like you just said, man, it's getting to that point to where, brother, if you want to be at Auburn, you're going to commit to Auburn. And dude, he's from a small town. It's a kid. He's enjoying the moment. So please don't take this as a character knock.
Yeah.
But what I'm about to say is just that Hugh Freeze is really trying to build a certain culture at Auburn. And I don't know if a guy that's moved his commitment date a dozen times and is really kind of enjoying the game of it is necessarily the kind of guy that we're trying to bring in and be a part of that culture. Not saying he's a bad guy, but it's just kind of one of them things where it's like, okay, man, this is going on a long time. It's gotten a little silly. Like kids do a lot of stuff. Okay. I mean, we got the kid that Coleman is from Saraland that was Bama, Auburn, back to Bama, and he's not even played his senior year in high school. That's pretty wild. But what Alvin has done has been pretty unique as far as this many dates, this many trolls, all this kind of, it's been going on for years. And I think that if I was Hugh Freeze, I might just say, I'll go get another back, dude. I'll go get another back. It's not, I love running back. We're running back you. And I believe in running the football to win at Auburn, but it's not a position where it's like, this is the only guy we can get, like you might be dead set on a quarterback or two. And you're like, I got to get this guy. You can probably go find you some backs that if you block well enough can do what you need to do. And then 100%. we still got Jeremiah Cobb that's got some eligibility back there. And he came out and made some interesting quotes this week saying, I didn't really know the playbook last year. That fired me up because I want to see Jeremiah Cobb when the boy does know the playbook. Pretty damn exciting to me. So
running backs come and go, man. That's why you see in the NFL, hey, in and out. All right. They come and go. So I'm just to the point where I'm like, hey, I'm exhausted with it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Let's either get him or move on,
Yeah. And I'll end off with this one. Greg Whitley says, I want more guys like Walker who made the decision and was all in. And this is kind of why I think that the QB situation is going towards Longstreet versus Juju Lewis, because Juju Lewis has already said my commitment date is way later in the game, most likely. And Longstreet's got his set for 14th. So if you're Auburn, let's go ahead and get the guy that's a take for us. That's still a top 5 quarterback that can run our system. Let's go ahead and get him in this class and build it the same way that we did with Walker versus, and I'm not saying that the day comes in January and Lewis or December, late November, and Lewis is ready to commit, and then Auburn will take him, right? There's no doubt about that. Kid's 5-star, kid's a stud.
Yeah.
But you got to act in the here and now as well. And Longstreet's ready to make his commitment here pretty soon. It seems like it's an Auburn A&M battle, and so I'm with you on this, Greg. I'm starting to get to that point with us in this class. Let's get that QB in there, man. That can recruit the other guys, that wants to help build this class. And yeah, we all want guys like Walker White, right? I mean, you get a guy like that can come in.
Yeah.
But look, it wasn't just Walker, dude. I mean, Perry recruited hard. Like there
Yeah.
was a lot of guys that were committed into that class. DeMarcus Riddick, TJ Lindsey. There was a lot of guys that committed and then really kind of recruit for us, man. So I'm excited, Blake. We're gonna play some damn football tomorrow, man. You got anything else before we get out of here?
I see Brett's comment down there at the bottom, and Juju, he is committed to USC. Yeah. So look, commitment. The word commitment is just not what it used to be. So, Dabo catches a lot of heat for that. Dabo catches a lot of heat for, hey, you don't commit to Clemson until you were 1,000% ready, and maybe one day we can get back to that. But look, I could be totally wrong on this. I just don't feel like Juju Lewis is coming to Auburn. So I'm in the boat with Dustin where I think we lock that QB down. We get the class moving. I love what Walker White did.
Yeah, for sure.
I mentioned that a couple weeks ago. I think what he did was really, really healthy for this class. And Perry caught a lot of flack for, trolling at the end. Perry was not going back to Alabama. All right, that was just him having fun because of where he grew up and how he got it out. He got it out of the mud, and he enjoyed the process. He was never going back to Alabama. All that was made up. He was just going along with the troll. Cam, he committed to Texas A&M. When it happened, we said committed to Texas A&M because we knew he wasn't going to end up there. I can even pull a DM for you from a Texas A&M pod that said, hey, Cam Coleman just committed. I put in all caps, won't stay committed to A&M. I just knew he wasn't going there. All right. I just think we lock this QB down and we don't push it on any further, man. And I just think Juju, there's a lot of hype between USC and Alabama in that recruitment. And I don't think Hugh's going to mess around like you said. I think he's trying to look for his guy and get this class really rolling. So that's where I sit on that.
Yeah, for sure. And look, Longstreet is a baller. The kid's a stud.
Yeah.
If that's the kid that we get in the class, we should all be excited. I think he's a good kid. Has a lot of the same traits that Walker White. Remember when we had Dukes on and he talked about Lewis having like a film crew? Is that am I correct? Yeah. See, I just don't know if I don't know. I don't know if that makes it to the finish line, buddy. That doesn't seem like what Hugh's trying to build. And again, I'm not knocking the kid, man. I'm just saying as far as the direction Hugh Freeze is trying to go after the locker room issues we had last year, I think blue collar football players, guys that he knows are going to come in and are willing to sit and grind a little bit at Auburn, that aren't going to hit that portal after their freshman year. I think that's kind of what he's trying his best, at least, to identify those in a day and age where it's very hard to identify those kind of kids. But listen, recruiting's heating up. Let's have a good show on that A-Day. Like I said, I want to see a cup full of juice. I want to see some pads popping in that building, man. I want to see a nice crowd. I hate the fact it really eats me up that I can't get there. But when you live 3.5 hours away, man, sometimes it's kind of hard to get there. But I'm excited.
What did you hype up on your member pod that we're about to drop?
You have to refresh me.
No, so Dustin did a member pod. We're about to drop that. I should have dropped it earlier in the week. I've been super busy, like I said, but we will have that out here shortly for all the members. I do want to hype that up. Dustin drops 2, 3. He tries to get in there and hammer out when there's a commitment. That's the word we've been hammering this episode a little bit. When there's a recruit, Dustin gets in there and he lets you know a little bit about them, and he watches the film on them and breaks them down. So we will be dropping that. And if you're not a member, sign up because I think he does a great job. He really puts his time and effort into these videos and creating the content. So check it out if you hadn't. I think he does a hell of a job on them. And they're only 12, 15, 20 minutes long max. So it's not like it's an all-day thing, a 1 to 2 hour event. Dustin, you do a hell of a job, brother.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. This one we're not even watching film. I'll just give him some predictions.
There you go.
Ignore my 2 minutes of Alvin Henderson. Because that one was done a couple days ago, and I'll say this, man, as I don't get in there with every single recruit and give a prediction. I only come in on somebody that I absolutely know. I have verified this through 1, 2, sometimes maybe 3 people, and really, really feel good about it because I don't want to be that guy that just hears one thing and says, "Oh, okay." Because if I would have done that with Ryan Williams,
Yep.
based off of legit intel from legit people, then it would have I would have looked goofy. So I really do try to make sure that I'm giving you guys, the most secure, the stuff that I know about, and I'm not scared if I don't know about something to say. I don't know, I don't know. But I appreciate that, man, and I like getting there with the guys and breaking down the film and looking at what we're going to get, and it tells you a lot. It tells you a lot, man. You get in there and you watch Kendrick Falk's highlight tape, and then you found out this is probably a guy we're probably going to be counting on next year. So if you really get in there and
Yep.
look at it, man, it can tell you some stuff. So good crowd, man. Fun. When we start, like I said the other night, we're going to start doing a lot more of these live shows during the week. So just be on the lookout, man. And like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, get over there to the War Report Gaming channel. Check out everything we
Yeah.
got going over there, man. Kicking off that channel. We've been working really hard, man. Look forward to it. Follow all the guys at the network. Mike, everybody on the beat this weekend. We'll be doing a great job at A-Day, and we will see you guys, I guess, like Sunday, Blake. We'll do like a Sunday night A-Day review.
Sure, man. I'm down for that.
All right, let's do that because I will be leaving for the week Monday. So we'll get in here Sunday night, and we'll do a nice little review, and we'll see you guys then, man. If anything pops
Let's
off from
go.
recruiting, I'll get in, and I'll make a member video. And on your way out, click that link. Get you that Bonner Supply Company, man. That hat on the right is so damn fly. It really, really is. You're not going to find it anywhere else. Click that link and support our guy Matthew over there. He's a good guy. Auburn, man. War damn Eagle. We'll see you guys Sunday. Let's play some football, baby.
Let's go.
And we'll be back. We're out.
War damn, baby.
Yes, sir.